All right, here's another great one I've always loved. This is Dirty Laundry by Don Henley. I did not know until a few minutes ago that this has Joe Walsh and Steve Lukather from Toto and Danny Korchmar, the great studio musician, all on this same track on guitar. So the first thing we have is we wait for the intro. Then we're gonna have these two chords. So that's 5, 3, 4 on the D down to B to the threes. It's part of an E flat. It's part of a B flat chord. So we go. So we're right into the verse after those chords there. So we have, this is an F power chord, 8 and 10 there on the A and D strings. We're gonna have like a little honky tonk thing with that 12th fret of the D. So we got, we got 12, 12, 10, 8 after that. So it's 3, 4. And then we jump down to the E flat. And some of these have the honky tonk thing and some of them don't. You can just kind of play it straight like. Got that B flat there. You could also do that down here if you wanted to in the 1, 3, 3. Because we're gonna have this other chord down here. It kind of makes sense to do it down here. So check this out. It's like. We can hit the B flat to A flat there. 3s to 1s. Back to the F. Then we're gonna go. That's another place to do your E flat to B flat. So this is the second part of the verse. 3s to 1s, back to F. Now this one did not have the, that's because we're gonna go into the chorus chord. So we got. So that's that chorus bit, kick them when they're up, kick them when they're down. So you got the E flat, 5, 3, 4, B flat, A flat, back to E flat. And then we're gonna have an F chord. So we have bum, bum, B, bum, bum, bum. Slide into the 4 and 3, and then that was kind of straight, does the honky tonk thing at the end. Then we have those chords again. And then we're going to wait a little bit for the next verse. The next verse we're going to start it with. So a little walk up. We wait till the 3 and 4 and. We pop in 3 notes. And 4 and. So that's big 8. 6, 7 on the A, right into that 8. So that's a little chromatic into that F. So got that little riff. E flat. Down to B flat. 3s to 1s. We got those chords. Second half of the verse. Now, right here on the second one of these F chords right here, Joe Walsh starts his solo. This is a really wild and very cool solo. So I'm going to try this kind of up to speed, and then we'll slow it down and break it down. Okay, so kind of close. Been working on it a little bit, not too perfect, but we got, that's our first riff. Big 13, pull off the 14, 13 on the A, hammer on 13, 14 on the D, 15 on the G. And then you go 13, 14, 15 from D down to B. So, and if you can keep that 15 ringing, you can kind of get a little bit of a chord thing going there. So we got. So once I went 13, 14, 15, I'm holding the 15, going to this other 15. We have two little quarter step bends on that 13 there, and you can kind of hold that 15 with it. Then we have a pull off here, so it's. That's the first kind of measure there. Then we're gonna have. So we bend the 15 to the G, we have the 16 below it, and we alternate going to the 13 instead of the 16 on the second string. So we got. Now this time we'll do the same 13 again. And then, so bend up, bend down into the 13. So it's. Now we're going to bend the 16 on the second string. So bend up and then go to the 13. And then 16, 13. 15 back to 13 there. And then we're going to bend the 15 with the 16 below it there. So we bent up, 16, bend down, go to the 13, and then 15, 13. And then we're going to start a new measure. So this one goes 15, 14, 13 from D down to E. And then jump down a string, 13, 14, 15, and then another string down. 15 on the D, two little bends on that one, back to that. So it's. Okay, so everything so far we got. Now the next part we're gonna have. So it's the same riff twice. We got the bend on the 15, 13, pull off. 15 back to 13, do it twice. So. And then we're going to have bend, little 13, second string pull off, and then we get into a riff where we go. So it's a little half step bend on that 15. It's real quick. This solo is super fast too, really. So we got 15 to 13, half step bend. And it's going to be like 5 times to finish that measure and 5 more times in the new measure. So when I hear the chord change, I count like 5 more to get to that 10, because there's 10 in a row. So we got. And then the chord would change, you'd have your other 5. End on that 15 on the D, and then we have 4 16th notes to finish that measure. 4 E and 13, 14, 15, 13 on the A. And then the riff kind of continues into the new measure. So that last measure is 14, 15, D to G, and then same strings, 13, 14, down to 15 on the second. 15, little bend and back. So everything so far we got. Okay, then we get in the next part of the solo. We got. And we do that thing twice. So we got 18th fret, 2 bends. We got 18, 16, second string 18 and back, and then we're gonna go dookie, dookie. So 18, 16 twice. So, and then we're gonna go 2 of those, 18, 16 B string. 17 on the G, back to that 16. So, and then we're gonna have. So we have a slide down, 17 to 15, 13, and then we jump up to the D. So it's. And then we're gonna go slide the 15 down to 13 on the A, pull off to the 11, 13, 11, da da dum, 13, 11, 13 there. So once again. Can we do it again? Okay, then we get a cool pull-off riff. We got. So it's 16 to 13 and then 13 on the second string also. And then we do the same thing with 15. And then we go way up here to 18. We're going to do that twice. So 16, 15, 18, 16, 15, 18, and then one more 16 and 15. And then we have bends on this little 16. So 2 bends, and then the third one you kind of pinch it off real quick because we've got to jump up here to do a couple pickup notes to get a higher bend. So that's like 18 on the second, 16 on the first, and then 21st fret. 2 big bends, and then a kind of held and let down bend and slide down. Then we have. So our last thing here is 2 bends on the 16 on the second string. So 2 bends, 16, 13, 15, 13 twice. That's moving into the next measure. So we got. And then the new measure is. So you got G string, 1 set there, 2 sets there, slide down, do, 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 do. So that one has a little bit more on the E string that time. Let's start from the pull-offs again. We got. Okay, so that's the solo, Dirty Laundry. After the solo, we get back into a verse, we got a chorus, we got a stop, and then there's gonna be a little pickup where you modulate. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1. So it's 1 and 2 on the E string, and then you're into a G chord. So everything's up 2 frets, 1 whole step. So we have the 14, 14, 12, and 10 for our riff instead of starting on the 12. Could start up here in the 10th fret too, so it could be like. We got F now. Down to 3rd fret, C. So you can do the 5s to the 3s there. Back to G. Now these sets would be 10s to 10, 9, 8. And then we move into the second half of that verse. So right here, as we're hitting the 2 sets of G's to kind of start over what might be like going to a chorus or something, it's going to stay in the verse, and it's going to be the Steve Lukather solo. And that thing is so intense, I'll have to keep listening to that. Okay, so great tune, Dirty Laundry, Don Henley, 2 pages tabs. Hope you all dig that. Talk to y'all soon. Thanks.